Hello, Jen. This will be some video feedback for you on week 3's assignments. And I'll begin with the discussion about Jeff Koons. Yeah, it'd be useful to post somewhere, maybe I should have done this, I think, to begin the discussion, the original images, the Davidovici Ad, designed by Frank Davidovici, and the Jeff Koons sculpture. The ad is a good example of postmodern advertising. Naf was a brand, or is a brand, I guess, that was up there with Fiorucci, maybe a little later on Benetton, and they all had sort of extraordinary advertising campaigns. And they used all the tropes of postmodernism. Interestingly enough, the model in the I can't pronounce his name, Davidovici Ad, was a professional model. Koons changed that to the likeness of one of his wives, who had happened to be, I think, an Italian porn star. But so there's a lot of backstory with Koons, but it does seem to be a fairly straightforward copy. Koons seems to ride on all the European nuances of the Davidovici Ad. The St. Bernard look in the snow with the barrel of whiskey or brandy, but instead it's replaced surreally with a pig. Pigs are used to hunt for truffles in the spring. There's lots of nuances that we don't necessarily get as Americans. Hi, Jen, again. Okay, I've opened up your files. This is 2.1, which is 2.2. This is the, so I'm doing these in a little out of order. This is the Illustrator file. Now, the reason why I'd asked you to make a PDF is because you may not know this yet, but there's a difference between linking to an image, the silhouette in this case, and embedding it. And you should have embedded it. No worries. I'll send out a notice about that soon. And but just you might want to do some research about the difference between embedding and linking. If you embed an image, your silhouette of the massage, then you make a self-sufficient freestanding file. If you link an image, you need to include those high-res images with your Illustrator file. That's kind of the difference. Now, there are reasons for doing this, but for our purposes, it's better to embed. By asking you to make a PDF, it automatically does embed the image. Okay, so that's why I had asked you to avoid this, or not to avoid it, but to see what it looked like with the images. So I'm going to click through this, just ignore. And here's what you do have. Whoops, let me get this over here. Let me zoom out. And it looks like you've got the beginnings of everything. You've got layers for background color, and I'm assuming that this would have been the image that I can't see, the linked images. You've got the logo, the vector logo, and you have the beginnings of copy. Just right off the bat, be careful about the edges. Remember, this is a print piece. It's going to be trimmed. This is flirting with getting some of the copy. So I'd move it back maybe a pica, or about an eighth of an inch at least, or a quarter of an inch, maybe better. But you've got the requisite layers, so good job on that. Jen, this is great. You've got the original, and you have the silhouette. Now it looks like you've got the original. You have the original there twice. You could probably streamline this by getting rid of. Let's see. What happens when I? Yeah, you've got it there twice. Not a big deal because you had made a successful mask, but ideally you just have the background, and then you would have a mask attached to it, much like you have it here. And you could toggle back and forth between the original and the mask. But you've got the idea. You haven't destroyed. You have the original included. I can see it here, and you haven't destroyed pixels or changed resolution. Be careful about distorting it. Here, for example, no, that's good. It looks good. All right, Jen, so that's what I've got for you this week, and I look forward to seeing how your ads shape up. Also, think about your imagery in the context of copyright infringement.